Hi, it's Richard in the Old Oaky Workshop. Let's talk router tables. I've got 4 of them to show you. Here comes number 1. Well, I don't know if you can call this a router table or not. Maybe it's a phantom router table, but this is a good old Sears Craftsman router I bought in the early 70s, probably 1971. And back in those days, I don't remember too much about router tables. It seems like most router type stuff that's done on a router table today was done on a shaper. But at any rate, this is what I came up with to use as a router table. So these rods are held on by a board, and then this is a mechanism is adjustable in here, and you move this thing back and forth and what have you, and of course adjust the bit up and down, and put a piece on here, got a little fence, and just run your board across there. Not real substantial, but it worked. One day I got to thinking about this hole in this table off the end of my table saw, and I thought, you know, that might be a good place for a router table. I've seen that done before. So I made a board that would fit in here, drop this in here like this, and so then I thought, well, I'll cut a hole the same size as the base of the router, and I did that, and then I figured, well, there's got to be a way to hold that router in there. So the way I did it was to place these 2 swing arms here like this, so I can take my router, put it down like so in the hole, and then I've got a couple of little blocks right here, and I swing this arm in and capture that block, which captures the base on that side, and this block captures the base on the other side, and then I simply swing these little guys in like that, and that holds the router in place. So put the cord down through, turn this little jewel over, and presto, I've got a router table in the edge of the table saw. And then I have a fence, of course, on the table saw itself. Bring that over. I've got a sacrificial fence on here, which you need, and you got a router table in the end of the table saw. Well, that worked great as long as the table saw was down at the other end of this workbench. But then I moved it down to this end of the workbench, and so in order to get good access to the router table, I've got to swing the table saw out away from the workbench to get access to it. And now for router table number 3. This router table sits in this location, and it's secured by this vise which bolts onto or clamps down on this particular block right here. Got a block of wood here, put this down like this, the router bolts to the tabletop right here, okay? Down we go, tighten up the vise, got a router table. And then for the fence, I simply slapped a piece of MDF down here. It's captured on this end by a bolt that goes through a T-nut, and then I've got an adjustment like this, you know, fence back and forth, and that served me great. I rarely have the need for a fence that's taller than this, because most stuff I'm running is 3/4 of an inch, and a great deal of it I do not cut completely off the surface, so that the piece coming out of here still engages this, at least part of it does, still engages this guy, so I don't have to have this portion of the fence set out. If I have this fence set out because I'm losing material at the router bit, then I can simply scab a piece on here, tape it on there, whatever like that, and that seems to work just fine. So here we go with router table number 4. This is the assembly table that I built recently, and this thing has got an insert at this location right here. So when I want to set it up as a router table, I simply remove the insert, and then I grab my router, which is stored down here, turn this upside down, place it down in this hole, okay? So it goes in like so, and I got myself a router table. As far as the fence is concerned, I'll do the same thing here. Haven't done this yet. I'll simply fashion a fence in this manner and bolt it down, secure it down on this end. Probably in this end will be the adjustable end like that. One nice thing about this particular router, this is a Porter cable, I think it's an 890 series, and it's got the capability of being adjusted through these holes in the top. One of these holes unloosens the latch that binds the base of the router to the motor, and then the other one is the one that adjusts the router up and down by 1/8 of a turn, 1/8 of an inch up or down by turning this one time. So that's really a very nice feature of that particular router. So there you have it, 4 router tables in the Old Lokey workshop. Hope to see you again soon.